Fargo Frog had always dreamed of being an FBI agent. That's Frog Bureau of Investigation. Finally, when he was old enough, he had his chance. It was the greatest thing that had ever had happened to him. But his dream job quickly came to an end one day when a frog that he was supposed to save ended up drowning because he was too scared to save her. That day, Fargo got fired from the FBI because he hadn't done his job right. He didn't give all himself to the mission. That was 5 years ago, but tonight, something was about to change. Fargo was in his bed and fast asleep when all of a sudden, the phone rang. When Fargo woke up and answered the phone, the voice on the other end said,
Agent Fargo, this is Sergeant Maccabee from the FBI. We need you to come down to the Bureau immediately so that we can talk about the top secret mission that we need you to help with. We expect you to be here in 20 minutes.
When Fargo Frog got off the phone, he couldn't believe it. The FBI wanted him back. Filled with excitement, he jumped out of bed, got dressed, and hopped into his truck. When Fargo got to the FBI headquarters, he was quickly ushered into a small room where Sergeant Maccabee was waiting for him.
Alright, Agent Fargo, let's get straight to it. There is a little girl frog by the name of Lily Frog, and she has been kidnapped. We don't know how many kidnappers there are, but we do know that they are extremely dangerous. Your mission is to save Lily from her captors and bring her safely back to her family. There's one condition. You cannot carry any guns with you to fight the kidnappers. We can't have anyone die today. We need all the kidnappers alive.
Sergeant Maccabee started walking out of the room when he remembered something else and turned around to tell Fargo one more thing.
Oh, and I almost forgot to tell you, Agent Fargo. You'll be working with Agent Terrence Toad.
What? Agent Terrence Toad? You have got to be kidding me.
Fargo hated Terrence because Terrence was the guy who had fired him from the FBI 5 years ago. This agent was the one responsible for ruining his life. He could already feel himself getting angry. Fargo and Agent Terrence began working on the top secret mission right away. They looked through maps, researched information on the kidnappers, and tried to figure out what kind of weapons they could use instead of guns. They finally decided to use slime ball slingshots because they were the only weapons that wouldn't cause damage. But as they continued working together, Fargo got angrier and angrier. He hated Terrence for firing him. How could he work with him now to save Lily Frog? One day, when Fargo couldn't control his anger anymore, he pushed the table over, threw the paperwork everywhere, and started to yell at Agent Terrence.
I hate you, man. I can't work with you because of what you did to me. How can you fire me? You...
As Fargo moved towards Terrence to hit him, Sergeant Maccabee came through the door. The sergeant yelled,
Stop, Agent Fargo. Agent Terrence had every right to fire you last time, but I'm giving you a second chance to prove that you can give all yourself to this mission. Now, you need to spend time concentrating on it and organizing yourself so that you can get out there and save Lily Frog. Don't fail me like you did last time. Now, get to it.
As Sergeant Maccabee stormed out of the room, Fargo took a deep breath and realized that the sergeant was right. He did need to give all himself to the mission. Just like Agent Fargo, some of you know what it's like to go through a tough situation. You know what it's like to be so overwhelmed that you wished someone would step in and fight for you. Maybe your mom can't pay the bills. Every afternoon, you come home from the school and check the cupboard, only to find out that it is empty. You need someone to fight for you. Or maybe you're getting picked on at school. Sometimes, bullies even wait for you outside your classroom to push you, take your money, or call you names. You need someone to fight for you. Or maybe your mom's boyfriend comes home drunk every day. He hits your mom, and sometimes he hits you. As you cry yourself to sleep, you realize that you need someone to fight for you. Your mom can't make the pain go away. Your friends can't fix your problems. You need God to fight for you. The Bible says, "Do not be afraid of them. The Lord your God himself will fight for you." God is more powerful than your problems. He wants to step in and fight for you, but before that can happen, you need to commit yourself completely to God. You need to get on your knees and say, "God, I give myself completely to you. I want to do what pleases you." Then you need to get rid of the things in your life that God doesn't like. Your TV programs, music with bad language, and friends that always get you in trouble. You need to commit yourself fully to Him. Once you give yourself to God, God can walk you through your problems. Commit yourself fully to God, and God will fight for you. Agent Fargo was ready to commit himself to the mission. He prepared the weapons. Finally, after a good hour of preparation work, they were ready to head out. They gathered their slime ball slingshots and put on their bulletproof vests to protect themselves from the kidnappers. Fargo was driving the truck as fast as he could through all the mud bogs. Mud was flying everywhere. They were nearing the house where the kidnappers had Lily Frog. They parked the truck and hopped out, taking their slime ball slingshots with them, ready to fire. Terrence and Fargo crept through the trees and bushes, getting closer and closer to the house where Lily Frog was being held by the kidnappers. Finally, they were only 25 yards away from the house. They crouched low and pulled back the bushes to see how many kidnappers were there. When they saw all of the kidnappers, they gasped. There were at least 30 heavily armed frogs situated around the entire house. Terrence started to figure out exactly how they were going to get to Lily Frog.
Listen, Agent Fargo. On a count of 3, we're going to have to run straight down the house. Use your slime ball slingshot to fire as many of the kidnappers as possible, see? I know this will be dangerous, but we'll have to hope for the best. We need to do whatever it takes to save Lily Frog, see? On my count. 1, 2...
No, I can't do this, man. I'm out of here. We're gonna die. And I don't want to die.
Fargo was so scared that he was ready to give up the mission and let Lily Frog die.
Don't do this, Agent Fargo. Remember what happened last time? You were on top of a secret mission and gave up. You need to give all yourself to the mission, see? Don't just give a piece of yourself. It's either all or nothing. What are you gonna do?
Agent Fargo had a choice, didn't he? Was he going to give all of himself to the mission, or just pieces? Each of you has a similar choice. Are you going to give God all of you, or just pieces? In the Bible it says, "So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I am about to spit you out of my mouth." God doesn't want just pieces of you. He wants you to give Him all of you. He wants you to be as kind and patient with your brothers and sisters as you are to your friends. He wants for you to be as respectful to your mother as you are to your teacher. He doesn't want you to be a part-time Christian. He wants you full-time. But if you don't give Him all of you, then, just like He says in His Word, He will spit you out of His mouth. This means He can't be there for you, and He won't give you His blessings. But when you give God all of you, He can give you peace when things around you go crazy. He can give you comfort when you hear your mom and dad fighting and you're afraid that they will get divorced. But first, you need to give God all of you. In the same way, Agent Fargo needed to give all himself to the top secret mission. Fargo thought about his choice for a moment, and mustering all of his strength, he decided he was ready to give all of himself to the mission.
Agent Fargo, on my count. 1, 2, 3.
Agent Fargo and Agent Terrence leapt out of the bushes, running straight at the armed kidnappers. The kidnappers started to fire their guns at the 2 FBI agents who were returning fire with their slime ball slingshots. Agents Fargo and Terrence were dodging bullets left and right, adrenaline running high. But before they knew it, every single one of the kidnappers were laying on the ground, knocked out. The slime ball stuck them to the ground near the house. The danger wasn't over though. Inside, they could hear Lily Frog screaming for help.
Help! Help! Help!
Hey, shut up!
Agent Fargo carefully peeked through the window to assess the situation inside. Lily Frog was bound with ropes to a chair. She looked like she had been beaten up. She had cuts on her face, a black eye, and her clothes looked dirty and ripped. She was in bad shape. Her kidnapper had 2 machine guns, ready to fight anyone who entered the room. He appeared dangerous but looked very nervous, pacing back and forth across the room.
Agent Terrence, Lily Frog is tied to a chair. She looks real bad. There's one heavily armed kidnapper. That's all. We can't take him if we kick down the door and fire our slime balls before he can react.
Agent Fargo quickly and quietly informed Terrence. With a deep breath, Agent Terrence started.
On my count. 1, 2, 3.
They kicked the door down, and before the kidnapper could even react, they shot him down with a slime ball. Agent Terrence ran to Lily Frog to free her from the ropes that bound her. But as he was cutting through them, he turned back to see Agent Fargo standing over the kidnapper with a gun pointed directly at the man's head. Terrence started to shout,
Agent Fargo, don't do it. You've come this far, giving all yourself to the mission, see? Don't end it here like this. If you're really giving all of yourself to the mission, you need to do what's right all the time, see? Not just when you feel like it. Are you committed or are you not?
Agent Fargo wasn't sure what he wanted to do. He was standing there with a gun in hand pointed at the kidnapper's head. He was shaking all over. He swallowed hard and looked at Agent Terrence. Fargo wanted to kill this kidnapper so bad because of what he had done to the little girl. But he had to choose. Was he going to do what is right and finish this mission? With one last look at the kidnapper, his hand still shaking, Agent Fargo dropped the gun and with a hoarse voice, he said to Agent Terrence,
You're right, man. I do need to give myself up. Not just the pieces.
He hurried over to help Terrence free Lily Frog from the ropes. They gently carried her out of the house and to their vehicle and drove her directly to where her parents were nervously waiting for their baby girl to be returned to them safely.
You did it.
Agent Terrence said with a smile, patting Agent Fargo on the back. Fargo nodded and smiled back. He successfully completed the top-secret mission because he had given all of himself. The end.